Hi Rooted, I hope you guys are all well. Today I'm bringing you the 30-second reason of why Jesus came to die, which today's is to enable us to live for Christ and not ourselves, which comes from the 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 15 passage that reads, "And he died for all, that those who live should no longer live for themselves, but for him who died for them and was raised again." So it sounds a bit odd me saying that Jesus came to die to enable us to live for Jesus. It's kind of like I'm saying that Christ died for himself, which is an argument that atheists use when they're trying to dispute Jesus' benevolence and selflessness and the love that he showed on the cross. And hopefully that is what I'm going to tackle, that this statement is actually the complete opposite of that. And this statement shows us how selfless and how great an act of love he showed for us with his death. So, as we've seen previously, we have sin that needs to be tackled, and it's Jesus that takes the punishment of that sin for us, and he bears it completely for us. And sin itself, when we define it as a whole, is our inability or our failing to glorify God, and in turn our failing to glorify his Son, which means when Jesus died, he took that dishonour for us and he died for the glory of Christ. So I can appreciate that it does sound kind of vain, showing that Jesus died for his own glory, but when I say that, it turns Christ's suffering into the complete opposite of what the Bible says it is. The Bible defines Jesus' death as a supreme act of love, the greatest act of love that the world has ever seen. So, in fact, both Christ's dying for his glory and his dying to show love are not only both true statements, but they are saying the same thing about who Jesus is. So let's go into that a bit more. Jesus is the only human in the universe who is also God, and therefore he shares characteristics with God. In Hebrews chapter 1 verse 3 we read, "He is the radiance of the glory of God and the exact imprint of his nature. He is unique and powerful as is God." And so when we read that Christ died that we might live for him, it does not mean that we might help him. He doesn't need our help in any way. In Acts chapter 17 verse 25 we read, "God is not served by human hands as though he needed anything." He did not die for us to help him in some way. There was no way that we could help him. We are flawed. He is perfect. He didn't need us in any way. He died so that we may see him and understand who he is as the Son of God, and that one day we might appreciate how incredibly valuable he is. He died to lead us away from the sinful pleasures of the world and towards his perfection and beauty. For that is how we will know God and one day be in the presence of God. Christ died and rose again so that we might see him and magnify him. And that is the greatest help that the world has ever received. And that is the supreme love that the Bible continuously defines Christ's suffering as. And just before Jesus dies on the cross, he prays for us as a people, and we can find it in the book of John in chapter 17, and I'm going to read specifically verse 24 that reads, "Father, I want those you have given me to be with me where I am and to see my glory." Here, Jesus prayed for us to be with him, and how being with him we are to be glorifying him before we join him in heaven. And that should be our life's mission, that every day we should be striving to glorify God, because we understand who he is as the Son of God. He is a God who should be praised, and that through us knowing him and growing in our relationship with him, that is how we will join him one day in heaven. And it's that John Piper emphasises as one of the reasons why Jesus came to die, so that we can glorify him and not be living our lives for ourselves, but living our lives for Jesus, because he is the God that deserves to be praised, and he is the God that we are always striving to have relationship with. I really hope that this helps you guys and encourages you guys to be living every day for Jesus and doing all that you do to be glorifying him in every way. And I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you soon. Bye.